Welcome back, Cloud Cadets. In this briefing, we will explore how to create function apps in Azure Portal. Before we begin with our local tools, like our integrated development environments, IDEs, or alternately VS Code, I will demonstrate a few approaches once we get to that phase. But first, we will create the resources we require. We'll start with a resource group. And I'll name it something. I'll start with my initials. Exploring functions. And end with RG. Since we are not working for any client right now, and this is just for us learning, I'm going to take the region that is closest to me, which is Sweden Central. Because why slow down when we don't need to? I'll press review and create, and I'll press create. And it's already created, much quicker than we thought. And the next step here is to go to the function app to the left here. And we click create here. And here we get a few hosting plans, and we're not going to delve too deep in here, but for most use cases we'll stick to consumption, unless someone higher up than us specifically asks us to go with anything else or the requirements of the project. But for our learning experiences, we'll stick with consumption, which is very generous. We have a lot of free requests. Once we're in here, we'll select our resource group. And here we're going to create more than one. We're going to start with one function app first. And before we give it a name, I want to show you this part, the runtime stack. Mostly, some of us work with .NET, but we can use a lot of other runtimes, like Node.js, Python, Java, PowerShell Core, even custom handlers. But for our situations and in our series, we'll be working with .NET. And here comes another interesting part called version. Here we have two types that we should focus on. Ignore .NET Framework, that's the Stone Ages, that's gone. Don't do it to yourself. But here we have in-process model and isolated worker. And we can see that the in-process model does not have an STS. LTS is a long-term supported model, and it's generally what we work with most of the time. We will work with an isolated worker model primarily, and it will be what we create first. And I will motivate this by also going to the documents and show you that Microsoft encourages us to stick to the isolated worker model. That's what they are focusing on. In-process model will be deprecated or purged, as you would like. Let's go back here. I'm going to take a region closer to me. I'll take Sweden again, and it doesn't really matter here, Linux, Windows, but generally Linux is cheaper and what you should stick to most of the time. I'm gonna go with it too. And for storage, here we don't have a storage account, but it can create one for us automatically. But then we don't get to control the name much, which is kind of horrible, right? So I'm going to create new here and give it a much more interesting name. Let's see. I'll call it isolated .NET isolated storage. Yeah, you really need unique names here. For most things here we can skip. We're not dealing with anything advanced. And we'll click review, create. Some validation failed. What did we miss? All right, forgot a name. So let's give it a name. Isolated worker, or let's do the same here. .NET isolated function. Now let's go back and create. Thinking like, why do we avoid in-process? Because as we understand from the documentation, it's very tightly coupled to the Azure runtime. Isolated, we It's like you run your own little command unit, communicate with the runtime. We have more control, more flexibility, especially for us .NET developers who want more control of the host, better dependency injection with the .NET patterns. You'll see this when we work with our local environments, why we prefer it. And as you see, every function is dependent on a storage account. You can think of it as the Azure Functions tactical support unit. Without it, the runtime has nowhere to stash orders, logs, or mission updates. But you could say it's the brain and clipboard of your Functions app. Checkpoints, it has checkpoints for our functions, saves the state between the steps, logs, diagnostics. In some function apps, we can have different triggers, not just HTTP triggers that we're used to. We have queue triggers, blob triggers. So the runtime, in the function app, it depends on that storage account behind the scenes. So that's why every functions app is a little more complicated than the logic app, if you watch that series. And you see the deployment is complete. And we come to this part, and here we're stuck right now because unlike the logic app, this requires coding. There is, however, a different variant that allows us to easily code here in the Azure Portal, but that is only for. I will show you the steps necessary to require to take that one. If you press create, we'll go consumption, and take the same resource group, and you see it's created even one extra here that is dependent on, I guess it's for the storage account. And we'll select .NET, and here comes the difference. We select the in-process model, and we stick to Windows, not Linux. I'll go back to Sweden, and this one I'll call .NET in-process function. And the storage, we can give it a name so we know. .NET, right, we can't use those dashes in a storage name. Storage. It works, nice. And let's go to review and create. We'll create this also because I think you might come across it out in the fields. Some that have this, and you will understand why only this version shows the a minimal editor in the Azure Portal. Let's see here. While this builds, can explore here a bit. Later, when we have developed these functions locally on the editor, we will upload them, we will deploy them here, and they will be listed. So we can have plenty of functions in a single function app. And as you see, we have different editors that we can work with. Visual Studio, VS Code, IntelliJ like Rider. And now a brief moment while technical difficulties for Azure. In the meantime, talk to yourself. Could be healthy. I am one to know. There we go. We'll go to resource, or if you're unsure, function app here. Refresh. There we have it. .NET in process function app. And you see, let's close this one so we have more space. Here we see it, create in Azure Portal. Let's go in here and explore it for a second. We have a lot of templates here we could choose. Let's start with the simplest one, HTTP trigger. Generally, we go with anonymous. And we can give it a name. Let's just say we'll do a Chuck Norris API eventually. But for now, we just keep it simple. And we see, for those .NET developers out there, this looks familiar, but there's a variation here. We have this #R, require newtonsoft.json. And that's a little difference from the local one. But we can run this, test and run here, or get function URL here. You can take this default function URL, go up here, paste it in, and we see that it works. And as you saw, it takes in a query parameter by the key name. You can try that. Name Zane. Hello, Zane. So there we have it. Before we proceed to end this briefing, we go back to Logic Apps here, or resource groups instead. We go into this one that I created. And we see with each function app we created, you see a function app by the name we decided, an application insight, where we can see logs and other interesting informations. And we have an app service plan, of course, and a storage account for each one. It's a lot of things. I'm going to delete everything that has with the in process to do. This one, this one, this one, and my God, which payment plan is left? For now, I'll just delete these three. I'll click the delete button here, and to delete, and this will eventually delete. All right, Cloud Cadets, until the next uplink.